calls me up, he says, hey, I want to go trolling at night, I want to use this new prototype lure and I want your fireflies. I said, okay. So we get up there and pulls out now they're hit sticks, the non-divers. That's why he's got the 3 smiley faces on it. He didn't know people that we were trolling with it. We had a fun night. He was really impressed with his hit sticks, and I couldn't thank him enough to help me promote my fireflies. So I'll be seeing him in March. I go down there ocean fishing with him, and we just have a great time. So that's on Lake Erie there, planter board lights. There's the Rattlin Wasp. So I said I got 24 colors, 2 sizes, 4s and 5s. A lot of times I'll run my crankbait Rattlin Wasp on this in deep water. So there's about 5 ways that you can get a bait down. I use a lot of inline weights. I put that right in here, then the 5-foot leaders in the bait. That's simple and easy, it's quick. You can also do the snap-on weights, 20-50 or 50-50 method, that works also great. Then you can go more expensive if you want to buy jet divers, gypsies, that kind of stuff. I've never ventured in it, I've never had to. You can use lead core, that's a lot more work because now you gotta have a dedicated rod and reel for lead core. Fishing with Keith out in South Dakota for walleyes, we're in 50, 60 feet of water. We're letting 200 to 250 feet of line out of lead core. That's getting down there close to the bottom. That's a lot of line of lead core. And it's like bringing in a big log. That's all it was. They had no play in the fish at all. That lead core does not stretch or nothing like that. But there's different ways you can do this system, and it works. So there's the dive curves on my, I was trying to design a number 7 and number 9, and that kind of fell apart because I can say dealing with overseas people is a lot different than working with United States people. 99% of your fishing stuff is made overseas. As much as I'd love to say I made this stuff in the United States, it's a tough thing to do. This was supposed to be a video of my Rattlin Wasp going through it, but as you can see how the pitch is here, this is how I designed the bill to make this do this. So when this hits bottom, it's actually going to make it pop up. It's not going to dig in and get hooked. That's why everybody loves my Wasp on stones and wood. So there's the Magneto in its package. Those are for sale, $13 each. This was supposed to be another video showing how the Magneto works with the, as you can tell, that rod's bending over. That's a big ass wall I have in Lake Erie here. This was 2020 Lake Erie for the fall brawl. It was Halloween. So I said, let's have some fun with this stuff. So we took a skeleton out there. And by the end of the week, hitting the waves too hard, he lost his head. So I have a skeleton with no head, but it turned out good for my wife's props for her craft sales. We had a headless horseman, Jeff said that. It was in October, heading out of Wisconsin. We get down to West Bend. I hit a deer. We looked at the truck. I had a 250, which was better than the 150 truck I had. Did a lot of cosmetic damage. There was no leaks. I said, okay, we're all good. There's no fluids. Let's just keep going. So we're driving over to Lake Erie, get into Ohio. I don't know if my kid put that on there. And no, it doesn't look like it. But anyways, we get into Ohio. He says, what's wrong with your tire on your trailer? I look at it, oh, that's a broken axle. So the tire's hanging on a 45 like that. I said, okay, get on the horn, see if you can find a welder or something like that. So he's calling around, I see 2 guys pull up in a white township truck. I says, do you guys have a 4-feet welder there? He says, yeah. I says, can I rent it? He says, well, you can come over. I says, great, because I need to fix that. He says, ooh, that don't look good. So I hobble it over there and I get it in his barn there. He's got all the right equipment that I need. So I jacked that thing up, I torqued it over. First thing I did is I looked at the weld. Sure enough, they missed like a 1/2 inch of weld on that round circle where that hub attaches to the axle. Okay, this is why it's broke. So I jack it up, I drilled it, I re-welded it, and we were fishing that night. Everybody said, I would have quit after hitting the deer. So that was quite an adventure. So this is my good friend Mikey Schultz. He's here today. He has the kill zone system. And that's what I have set up right here. need it there?
I got it.
So what's unique and different about this? This is a 3-way rig system knotless, and it's adjustable. So what I can do now is I can clip on whatever pencil weight or bellow sinker weight, whatever weight I want, and I can actually use this as like a mini downrigger. This is how I troll 4 of my rods out of the 12 when I'm trolling in open water. So my top rods are my 8-foot telescopic. These will have 4-ounce weights here, and whatever cranks I want to run there. So I can adjust it on my boat wherever deep I want, so I don't have to worry about a board or anything like that. Then my 2 back rods are 10-foot 2-piece rods, and they got 2-ounce weights. Either I'm doing inline weights or snap weights. It doesn't matter how I want to run. Because if I get a board going, I can bring that board in and not worry about touching any of these things because it all comes right behind the board. And these are spread far enough apart. These 2 up in the bow are going to be right straight below the board. I'm looking for fish that want to bite anything. So most of the time, if you got fish on the bottom, they're kind of neutral. They're kind of in between if they want to bite. A lot of times what I'll do with all my boards, or this rod, I'll grab the line and pull on it a couple times. I call it exercising the board. What you're actually doing is making that lure surge. A lot of times these walleyes, they'll follow it, but they won't take it unless there's something that triggers them. A lot of times I'll take, like this past year, I only spent 2 weeks on the Erie. I'm barking tons of fish. I just can't get them to bite. What's going on? So I took a half a crawler and put it on the front hook of the bandits. It was lights out. That whole week, the guy was totally impressed. He couldn't believe how many fish we were catching. We were limited out in 3 hours. He ended up buying 6 of my rods each and all that kind of stuff. So it was a fun time, but it was that little trick of putting that trunk crawler on that front hook. I've also caught, yes?
How do you keep that from sliding up and down?
Okay, this works great on mono. This is sprayed, so it's gonna slide. I don't really care when the fish gets on, if he pulls it down to this, I don't really care. But what's nice, like I said, you can adjust this. A lot of times I'll bang this on bottom while that crankbait is working back there.
So
Normally,
keeps it in place?
yeah, I should show you how this, well, my